Hello, my name is Pastor Hal York, and welcome to Truth in the Trenches. Shakespeare once said that the path is smooth that leads to danger. And I think an example of this for over 100 years has been the story of the Titanic. The Titanic was warned about icebergs 8 times in its journey across the Atlantic on its maiden voyage, but it went barreling ahead trying to set records. But eventually they saw the iceberg. By the time they saw it, it was too late. Maybe we've seen people who've made decisions and we looked at those decisions and we said, don't they see? Can't they see where that's going to lead? How that's going to work itself out? But they don't. And I think that illustrates what Proverbs is telling us in our verse today in Proverbs chapter 22, verse 3, that the prudent sees or foresees danger and hides himself. But the simple go on and suffer for it. The prudent foresees. The prudent man sees the long-term outcome of a choice or a decision. Wisdom knows how life works, and it sees down the road not just what's right in its face, but it sees the long-term effect, the long-term reaping, if you will, of that choice that was sown. It may be a long way off, but it sees where that choice will lead, and it hides. It's not hard to spot danger when you're face to face with it. When you see the iceberg, you see it as a danger immediately, but by the time you see it, it's too late to avoid it. The die has been cast. And it may be a marriage, maybe a friendship on social media, maybe a casual cup of coffee that seems innocent enough. But you're meeting with a person you know you probably shouldn't be meeting with, and you're starting to make unwise decisions. You're taking risks. You're pushing moral boundaries. You're playing with temptation. And pretty soon this person you're meeting online is not enough. You want to meet them in person. And we all know how the story goes. And we know how the story ends, and it's ugly and it's not pretty. Remember this, most people's lives do not come unraveled by one big bad choice, but by a progression of small, seemingly insignificant, unwise choices. The simple pass on and are punished. The simple pass on and end up in family court, in prison, in counseling rooms, in divorce courts, in suicide, despair, disgrace, trouble of every kind. The way of the simple is hard. They didn't see it coming. They're walking in darkness, and then wham, it hits and it hurts. Someone has said that the simple who believes the words that flatter them will not believe the words that warn them. And so when the troubles come, when the problems come, when the disaster looms large, they call out for help. The simple want the counselor to fix it, to stop the boat, to move the iceberg, to do something. But many times all that can be done in many cases is to tell them to put on their life jackets and man the lifeboats. It's going to get uncomfortable for a while. It's going to be hard. But there's hope. If we confess and repent, forgiveness are words of hope. We can find forgiveness, but they're not magic words that erase all the consequences of neglect and bad choices. In Proverbs, really the whole Bible is teaching people how to sow, how to think, how to look ahead. What you sow, you will also reap. Sowing is looking ahead. If you want this in the future, you must plant this today. Sowing is all about foreseeing. Life is not just about right now. Actions bring certain things into our paths that at this present time may not be apparent, but they will eventually show up. You don't reap what you sow overnight. Affairs and addictions don't happen overnight. The prudent realize this and sow accordingly. They hide in the shelter of God's word and God's promises and God's provision. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, they always say. It's easier to prevent forest fires than it is to put them out. The prudent foresees evil and hides himself. The simple pass on and are punished. A.F. Mummery has said, "It is the momentary carelessness in easy places, the lapsed attention, or the wandering look that is the usual parent of disaster." Are you pondering the path of your feet? I pray that this question would cause us to think. Are we wise? Are we prudent? Or are we simple? The prudent foresees evil and hides himself. The simple pass on and are punished. May this truth encourage us as we walk with our God in the trenches of life in this broken world, to his glory and the good of others. May God bless you.